So Tunisia's President Kais Saied is under fire once again after he made comments about African migrants. He said there's a plot to replace Tunisia's Arab and Islamic identity by bringing people from other countries in the region. Tunisia's president says African migrants pose a threat to the country's Arab identity.
On social media, a video of another racist attack on black migrants in Tunisia.
Hi everyone, I'm sure by now you must have seen this video of the Tunisia president saying that black people cannot live in Tunisia.
There is no question of allowing anyone in any illegal situation to stay in Tunisia. There is a state and institutions. It is a file prepared with the objective of changing the demographic makeup of Tunisia.
Going to 2 months now, black people, that is Africans who are black, first saw that video. A lot of people were hungry. However, after I made a further research about this matter, I discovered that black people or Africans who are hungry about what the Tunisia president said simply did not understand what is going on here. In this video, I have tried and put together some facts and evidence which will hopefully blow your mind and change the way you look at what is going on in Tunisia right now. Also in the video, I will talk about 5 countries in Africa that you probably should not go if you are a black African. If we want to understand what is going on in Tunisia right now, the first thing we have to understand is try and figure out how most people who are in Tunisia right now got there. You see, many black Africans who are in Tunisia right now, that is Africans from sub-Saharan Africa, got there as illegal immigrants on their way to Europe. And to see how this play out, all you have to look at is this world map. If you check the world map, this is Tunisia, this is Mediterranean Sea, and if you can cross this sea, you can easily get to France, Italy, Turkey, Spain, and a few other European countries. According to this 2022 report by the United Nations, more than 1 million Africans cross the Mediterranean Sea to Europe. Some of these people may cross from Libya, some from Egypt, some from Morocco, some from Algeria, and some from Tunisia. Now pay attention, because I'm about to show you something that explains the reason why there is crisis in Tunisia. As you have these hundreds of thousands of people coming from Nigeria, Cameroon, Gabon, Ghana, as you have them running to countries like Tunisia, some of these people will get to Tunisia or Egypt or Morocco, and they will find out that they do not have enough money to get to Europe.
We charge different prices depending on where they come from, he says. But on average, the ride to the Libyan border costs them about £150.
Some of these people will fall sick because of the stress they have gone through in the desert. Why some of these people, for the first time, will realize that people actually die trying to cross the sea to Europe.
In the past 3 years, more than 10,000 men, women and children have died trying to cross this stretch of water.
When these people realized for the first time that the journey they were about to take is very, very dangerous, some of them simply stay back. Some of these guys may stay in Libya, they may stay in Morocco, Tunisia, or Algeria. And this leads us to the very first problem, which is countries like Tunisia or Egypt end up having hundreds of thousands of illegal immigrants. We have to be honest with ourselves. No country likes illegal immigrants.
You don't like them?
No, I don't like them.
No country likes illegal immigrants because illegal immigrants is like a stranger who jump fence into your house without your permission. To make this even worse, this stranger is asking you for food. But if you want to follow the law, the rules of the United Nations, then you are expected to take care of this illegal immigrant. I mean, you might think I'm making this up, but this is from the United Nations website. This publication is from 2012, and what the United Nations essentially is telling all the country is that illegal immigrants are supposed to be treated with respect and some level of freedom, and your country is supposed to take care of them. If by now you have not seen the problem, then let me show you. In his 1954 book, The Epigrams of Oscar Wilde, Irving Redman wrote, "Starvation and not sin is the parent of modern crime." You see, one of the reasons why countries like Tunisia, Egypt, Morocco, and the likes may not be very kind to immigrants, talk less of illegal immigrants, is that these countries are struggling economically. Let's take Tunisia, for example.
Tunisia's faltering economy was hit hard by the COVID-19 pandemic. That triggered nationwide protests in July last year.
Lassad Mejri has long struggled to cope with the basic costs of living in Tunisia. But in recent years, the 57-year-old street cleaner has been forced to tighten the purse strings even more and barely earns enough to feed his family.
Mahdi Tayyib, a horse meat salesman for more than 20 years, says he has never seen the market so empty.
I can't buy basic products like vegetables anymore. My family is hungry.
People have disappeared. The ordinary citizens can't buy meat. We sell horse meat for 13 dinars a kilo. It's cheap and affordable to all, yet people can't even buy that.
Unemployment also remains high, and the country has begun experiencing shortages of food and medicine.
This is the truth we have to tell ourselves. Countries that are struggling economically don't want immigrants, talk less of illegal immigrants. If you think a country that cannot feed its citizens, a country that is having 15% unemployment rate, a country where people are waking up every day to hope for where their food will come from, in millions, we open their borders and say, oh, everybody from Nigeria, come to our country, then you are being unrealistic.
It's totally unrealistic.
But then, I know what some black Africans, that is Africans from sub-Saharan Africa, will tell me. No, you don't know what you are talking about. The reason why black Africans are asked to leave Tunisia is because Tunisia is racist. Okay then, if you think the reason why Tunisia or Libya or Egypt or Morocco is not kind to black Africans is because they are racist, then I need to remind you of history. In 1969, when the economy of Ghana was in a big crisis, Ghana sent away all the immigrants in their country. You guess what? These immigrants are from Nigeria, Burkina Faso, Benin, Côte d'Ivoire. I mean, people that are having the same skin color with Ghanaians. For example, if you look at an average Ghanaian and an average Nigerian, you cannot tell the difference in their color. 11 years earlier, in 1958, Togo did the same thing. Every immigrant in Togo, which by the way, these people came from Dahomey, Nigeria, and the neighboring countries to Togo, all of them were sent back to their countries. In January of 1983, the president of my country, that is Nigeria, announced that every illegal immigrant must leave Nigeria in a matter of 2 or 3 weeks.
If they don't leave, they should be arrested and tried and sent back to their homes. Illegal immigrants, in fact, under normal circumstances, should not be given any notice whatsoever. If you break a law, then you have to pay for it.
More than 2 million immigrants who were living in Nigeria have to trek. Some of them trek from Nigeria into their country because, of course, they came from neighboring countries like Benin, like Ghana.
They've been kicked out without warning, blamed for everything from Nigeria's soaring unemployment to the high rate of crime.
Up to today, in South Africa, every 3 years or 2 years, black South Africans start crises and send home like black immigrants who come from other black nations of Africa.
It said the attacks were mainly fueled by the sentiment that foreign migrants are to be blamed for crime and unemployment, and the urge to make the undocumented people leave the country and push for jobs to be reserved for South Africans.
We attack them with knives, everything, machetes, man, because we are very, very angry because we can't accept that.
This is the point I'm making. It does not matter whether the country is white, Arab, or black. When a country is in crisis, when the economy of the country is not the way it should be, when an average man in a country cannot eat, when 30%, 20% of people in a country are unemployed.
These people, they work for 80 rand a day, 90 rand a day. It's fine for them because when you go to his country, it's a lot of money. But for us, it's too small. So we are no longer getting jobs anymore because of the salary we're looking for.
You are not expecting such a country to be kind and friendly to immigrants, especially illegal immigrants. Why should I be unemployed when somebody from Nigeria is having a job in my country? By the way, I'm a Nigerian. That is just to paint the picture of what is going on. But then there is another allegation against the Tunisia president, which was, the guy said black people are trying to change the demography of Tunisia.
To all leaders at every level, look after our brothers from sub-Saharan Africa who are in a legal situation. This is a matter of state. It must take its responsibilities. There is no question of allowing anyone in any illegal situation to stay in Tunisia. There is a state and institutions. It is a file prepared with the objective of changing the demographic makeup of Tunisia.
Towards the end of the clip I just showed you now, the president of Tunisia said black people might end up changing the demography of Tunisia. And the question I want to ask you is this: do you really think black people can change the demography of Tunisia? And the answer, unfortunately, is yes. You see, Tunisia is a very small country. If you want to know how small Tunisia is, all you have to do is to compare Tunisia to some states in Nigeria. For example, I live in Lagos, Nigeria. As at 2022, Lagos population is estimated to be 24 million. Can you guess what the population of Tunisia is as of today?
12 million.
12 million. That is like half. The entire Tunisia is like half of Lagos State. The implication of that is, if you allow people from sub-Saharan Africa, hundreds of thousands of people every year, to be trooping into such a country, what happened in the next 100 years is Tunisia will no longer be an Arab nation. Then somebody will want to question me. Oh, but they are Africans. Why do you think it is important that they remain Arab nation? Why can't they accommodate people from other African nations? We don't have to be emotional about this. We just have to be realistic and look at it from your own perspective. Look at it, put yourself in their shoes. When people have multiple identities, that does not mean they are willing to sacrifice one of those identities for another. So let me give you an example. I am an African, I am a Nigerian, and I am a Christian. All these three are my identities. But does that mean I am willing to sacrifice any of these identities for another one? For example, do you think I am willing to sacrifice my Nigerian identity for Africa to be peaceful? So, for example, let's say a country in Africa attack my country and my country declare war against such a country. Do you think I'm going to say, okay, Nigeria is not going to fight with that country because that country is Africa, so we should not fight. We should just let them continue attacking us. You know, they can continue killing us. Do you think I'm willing to do that? No. If my Africa identity threatens my Nigeria identity, I have to stand by my Nigeria identity, even if I forget my Africa identity. Let me give you another example. I am a Christian, as I have told you. Let's imagine that tomorrow some Muslims in my country stand up and say, hey, we want to turn Nigeria into an Islamic nation. Do you think I will say, okay, yeah, they are Nigerians like me. It doesn't make sense that I fight Nigerians like me since we are the same Nigerian. So let them turn my country to Islamic state. Yeah, that's okay. No, I will have to stand by my Christian identity even when that does not favor my Nigeria identity. My dear brothers and sisters, this is the same thing that happens when somebody is Arab, Africa, and Muslim. There is no doubt they are Africans. They know that as their identity. But they are also Arabs and they are also Muslim. You thinking, yeah, they should allow their country to become polluted with other religion, and in the next 100 years, when you enter Tunisia, you see 7 black people before you see 1 Arab person. That should not be a bad thing. After all, they are Africans. I don't think that thinking makes sense. Tunisia, Egypt, Morocco, Libya, they deserve to keep their Arab identity. They deserve to keep their Islamic identity. If Africa identity threatens that, then I would not expect that they will fold their arms and say, okay, we can forget Arab as long as we are Africa. I am not making this video to justify violence or to tell you that it's a good thing that Tunisia president asks black people that they cannot stay in his country. Instead, I'm trying to get you to see 2 things. First, it doesn't have to be racism, because from my personal observation, what I have observed is this: wherever a black person does something to another black person, everybody accepts it to be normal. But if tomorrow a white person or an Arab person does the same thing to a black person, everybody says, that is racism.
Not at all.
To me, it doesn't make sense. When Ghana did it in 1969 to Nigerians and to Côte d'Ivoire and to Burkina Faso, what do you call that? When Togo did the same to the neighboring countries who are black in 1958. What do you call that? When my country shamefully did that in 1983, what do you call that? However, in all these 4 stories is one theme, and that is economic crisis. Wherever a country is faced with serious economic crisis, that country is like an hungry man. An hungry man simply does not want a visitor who will come and eat food in his house because he himself is hungry. Such country simply don't want you as a legal immigrant to be in their country. The second thing I try to show you in this video is that, see, let us be realistic. People have more than one identities. And you can't just ask them to sacrifice one out of that identity for the good of other. I am an African. I love Africa, but I am also a Nigerian. And I am also a Christian. These 3 are my identity. Please don't come to me to ask me to sacrifice one of these 3 identities for the good of another. Don't come to me, for example, to sacrifice my Nigeria identity for the good of Africa. I don't want to do it. In the same way, you cannot go to Arab nation. They are Arab. Yes, they are Africans. Yes, they are not telling you they are not Africans. But you cannot ask them to open. See, imagine, think about this. Libya is a country of 6 million people. The last time I checked. Do you know how small 6 million is? 6 million is an average state in my country, Nigeria, or your state. 6 million. I don't want to mention states that are don't even mention bigger states in my country that are coming to my head now. Kano, Kaduna, like 6 million is so small that if you keep on allowing other people with different culture, different religion, and different way of life into that country, in the next 50 years, that country will lose its identity. Don't tell me it doesn't matter. It may not be matter to you, it matters to them. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you are a black African from sub-Saharan Africa, just know that if you are illegal immigrant, you are not welcome in Libya, in Morocco, in Algeria, Tunisia, or Egypt. And even if you are legal immigrants, maybe we should stop thinking the grass is greener at the other side. Maybe we should look for ways to challenge, fight, or influence our leaders. Maybe we should fix our countries. Because think about it. Almost all the time when you complain that people treat you badly, 9 out of 10 times it is outside your country. Because it is very, very difficult for anybody to treat you badly in your home. So what we should do as a people is to look for a way to improve our home so that we stop running to other people's country where we are not welcome.